busy bees working. I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. I'm trying to seek purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. For the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. Yet I keep flirting, face death like a Steve Irwin. Hold heat, I'ma drink thermos. Tell the bartender keep serving. I'm trying to be perfect. Some dirty shit to clean dirt with. Only happy when the weed burning. Traded oxygen to breathe purpose. Till I see curtains. Lungs fail and they cease working. There is something that I need urgent. Suffocating, trying to squeeze words in. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath when you lack flesh. Got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath. Walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad blessed. Hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweating shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
I let the record show. I let the tech explode. Put up the weapon show. Pull up the Texaco. Knuckles in Mexico. Call up the technical. They know the text will blow. Shut that, I'm Plexico. Turn you to vegetable. Body electrical. Acid and alkaline. Body so flexible. The shooter's feast like a Uber Eats. Got a group of these scooter bees. While letting the Uzi Aruga speak. An American God up in Cuba eats. The powers they seek and powers that weak. They follow and creeps. Powers that be. Inherit the world from cowards and sheep. Bit to the mountains, top towers and peaks. Flowers and sweets and showered our feet. The lightning and thunder, the shower to sleep. Shower the D's. This not a verse, this our receipts.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath when you lack flesh. Got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath. Walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad blessed. Hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweating shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
It's like a track finish. I attract women, they the bad women. I'ma splash in them, leave a bag with them. Then I raise seeds to be mad different. If I die now, I'm coming back in them. Cause they dad missing, but they cash dripping. Cause they royalty, so they brag different. Ain't no ass kissing, never had feelings. Seen a white victim and a black witness. Mac gripping on my last mission. Yak sipping, blowing black ism. Gat missing, he was lack slipping. Smack hit him, now we act different. Apparition, the bad vision. The Mac a chip him and crash the system. Uncle Tom, cause you that willing. Fuck the law, I'm going back to living. Astral prism, the black religions. Activism to conversations. Sacrilegious, the palms of Satan. Black magicians, Babylon erasing. Raise our hands to God we praising. Hustle in the marathon we racing. Nipsey at the finish line, he waiting.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath when you lack flesh. Got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath. Walking the last step. I'm on the last test. Final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest. So much harder than my last track. Mad blessed. Hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address. Down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweating shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There you have it. Last Breath by my brother Cambada off of the Black Magic Holy Ghost Part 2 album featuring Red Luke. All right. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Mondays, episode 124. KTL in the ATL. Yes, indeed. Your brother Red Pill, I am in the ATL. I am joined tonight by some special guests. I have my brother 19 Keys, my esteemed guest 19 Keys, and I also have his brother Bashir Music, all right, in the building. His younger brother, who's also out here shifting paradigms. So we're gonna chop up game tonight. We're gonna have an interesting conversation. This is officially the first day of summer. All right. This is the beginning of a new paradigm. This is the day after solar eclipse. It's the day after Father's Day, and it's the day after the summer solstice. Somebody says, is there a fan on? Okay, let me move it over here. Tell me if you hear a fan. Go to if you can't hear, go to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, Know the Ledge Media on YouTube. All right, Know the Ledge Media. Okay, that's better. Cool. All right, family. Let me do the roll call. Let me see who is in the building. I'm in Atlanta tonight. I'm in the ATL, KTL in the ATL. Let's do a roll call so we know who is in the building. Tallahassee is in the building. Victorville is in the building. If your city has a statue that came down, give me a fire emoji on top of giving me your city. Give me a fire emoji so I know that your city is lit. All right. If they knocking down Albert Pike statues, Christopher Columbus statues, Andrew Jackson statues, Harlem, Boston, Las Vegas, Delaware, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Jersey City, Chicago, ATL, you're in Atlanta? Yeah, shout out to you. 316, Wichita, Kansas, Kuwait, Seattle, Indiana, Orange County, California, Delaware, Maryland. Oh, Instagram is showing me mad fire emojis. Look at that. Houston is on fire. Harlem with the fire. VA with the fire. DC with the fire. New York City with the fire. Richmond with the fire. Mystical Philly with the fire. Washington Heights, New York, no fire. Get you some fire. Colorado in the building. North Charleston. Talk black to me. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson went down in New York. You done right it, he did. DC with the fire. All right. LA with the fire. Delaware. H-Town with the motherfucking fire. Huh? Delaware. Caesar Rodney statue came down. You damn right. Colorado. Fire with the Columbus. You know, I'm talking about fire signs with the Columbus. We talked about Columbus before. El Paso, Oklahoma, Brooklyn, right? Queens with the fire. H-Town with the fire. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. H-Town with the fire. Right? H-Town with the fire. Toronto. We can't make this up. Right? We can't make this up. Fort Wayne, Indiana with the fire. Right? Harlem, Largo, Florida, Oakland, Fort Greene, Brooklyn with the fire. Columbus, Ohio got Christopher going down. North Brentwood, Maryland, Oakland. Okay? Right? Can we say Jubilee? Can we say the word Jubilee? Huh? New Orleans took down John McDonald, right? Statue. New Orleans did that. Claymont with the fire. Oakland with the fire. There's Oakland right here in the building. Teddy Roosevelt is coming down Washington Heights, uptown New York with the fire. Talk black to me. Thank you. I think they took a Gandhi statue down in Africa, if my vision served me correct. Yeah, the ancestors are on it. The ancestors are definitely on it. Yes. More I heard that they did something in the Moorestown in London. Shout out to the Moorestown in London, Bristol, the UK. Fire emoji. Talk black to me. Clinton Hill coming down. Summer solstice is here. The sun is speaking a different language. That is the title for tonight's lecture or tonight's conversation is called Summer Soul, S-O-U-L. Summer solstice shift. Summer solstice shift, right? Sam Houston has to fall. Let's be clear, Houston, Texas. Sam Houston gotta go. That's a no-brainer. When you're on the highway, family, in case anyone never has been here, Google Sam Houston statue, Texas. Just Google it. Don't take my word for it. Google, matter of fact, we could Google it together. No, not at the moment, but we will. Sam Houston has to come down. He, on the way to jail, they have this humongous alabaster statue hovering. Sam Houston is in the same bed as Andrew Jackson. Go and do the research on Andrew Jackson. Once they discover who Andrew Jackson is, right? The statues come down. You demand that the picture in the White House comes down, right? Because President Trump has Andrew Jackson hanging in the Oval Office. Okay, let's deal with let's go right to it. Strategy. Let's go right in, right? Andrew Jackson's photo, his portrait, meaning that he's the president that the modern day president is invoking, right? This is what they do by putting up monuments and by putting up certain portraits and by having certain paraphernalia on deck. This is how they summon, or this is how they tap into a certain energy or in a certain egregor, because we're gonna deal a lot with the egregors tonight. 19 Keys is gonna unpack some things. We're gonna talk about the egregors. We're going to talk about these thoughts. We're going to talk about the whole aspect of the shift that's taking place in the now. You're witnessing it. You're living it. You're breathing it. You're experiencing it. You're experiencing it. You know, you are it, right? You are it. So when people discover the atrocities that Andrew Jackson committed, and then they look at their $20 bill, right? Because it's one thing to take the statues down. Shout out to Blue Pill, because I don't want my bro to feel like I'm not giving him credit for cloth that he's been delivering to the people, because he was on his live about an hour ago, giving the preliminaries to what I'll be built. The preliminary, he was going in and unpacking more of what I'll be able to go in on tonight, because I'm going to be dealing with multiple things. So I'm encouraging you to go to Blue Pillar 44 on Instagram. Blue Pillar 44. That's my twin brother's page. Unfortunately, or for some reason, a lot of people are becoming aware of us through different channels. So they don't even know that I have a twin. There's some people who don't even know that there's Blue Pill. They just know Red Pill. Then there's some people that know Blue Pill and be like, who is that? Who's the Red Pill? They don't even know. So that's Blue Pillar, that is a good thing. That could be leverage. That means that we're growing in directions that we're expanding. We have an exponential reach. And if my brother's reach is so far that people don't even know that he's attached to me, that is a good thing. So check out his diatribe, or check out his breakdown when he was talking about the symbology of what's taking place with the loss of faith, right? The loss of faith that is taking place in this system, because the symbols represent the faith. The symbols are attached to Americana. The symbols are attached to the American dream. The symbols are also attached to the American nightmare. The symbols are also attached to the quote unquote, especially Andrew Jackson and Benjamin Franklin and them. They're attached to the monetary system. So as the statues fall, you're going to see the monetary system soon fall after that. Now, Talcum X, shout out to Talcum X out here drilling and whatnot. Talcum X put out a talcum hit on a talcum on the final boss you know what I'm saying, on top of Tekken, and that's Jesus, right? Talk black to me. He said, and I quote, right? This is Sean King, in case you don't know who Talcum X is. You know what I'm talking about? Talcum X on his Twitter, right? Because we are in a day and time where we're witnessing, right? We are living through, right, the power of the modern day civil rights movement and Black Twitter and other different means where the new media, the woke media, right, is still controlled opposition to an extent, let's be clear. But woke media, where people like Sean King have a voice, and what they say on their Twitter tweets, you know what I mean? They start national conversations, right? So the man put out a tweet basically saying, well, God damn it, if they starting with if they're gonna take the statues down, then we might as well make Jesus the final boss, right? And he gotta go. And Twitter went crazy. Black Twitter, you know, they gave him up to the Romans. They like, go ahead and crucify him. And white Twitter is having, there's some mayonnaise tears for anybody that need it on Twitter right now. Go get your cups, because they're definitely over there having, you know, they're crying a whole bunch of rivers, because he's calling for the removal of the white Jesus statue, which also speaks to the removal of mentality that's attached to white Jesus. Somebody in the chat just put Ordo Ab Chao. Ordo Ab Chao. CHAO. Right? Order out of chaos, which is a subtitle to the lecture that we did. Ascension Protocol 2020, right? Ascension Protocol 2020. The subtitle was Order Out of Chaos. And the premise behind that was, we did that in March or April. I believe it was April. We were in the throes of coronavirus, right? We were in the throes of coronavirus. Please, for the family that's out there, walk with me, right? When I had Supernova Slum as a special guest, when we were doing a promo for Fear of a Black Planet 2020 with Professor Griff and Supernova, Supernova gave a task to the Melanin Monday audience, and he said, go back to the old Melanin Mondays. Go back a whole year when Brother Red Pill was putting out Melanin Monday 70-something or 60-something or maybe 80-something, and go back and study what the brother was saying and compare it to what's going on right now. And you'll be able to understand that these things have been spoken of a while ago. So all the way back, we were speaking about the signals that I was picking up on when people were suffering from what they call COVID-19. And I was like, look, it's bigger than that. The fact that the disease or the pandemic is striking in countries that I'm identifying as countries that are intricately tied into the slave narrative. Not just the slave narrative, but the quote unquote ADOS slave narrative. The one that commences with the whole 1619, 2019 aspect of, you know, the 400-year curse. I was like, hold on. This is dealing with the slave narrative. This is speaking to me in a different language. I'm seeing something else. I'm seeing the Crusades. I'm seeing some Moorish shit going on. I'm seeing order out of chaos. You know, I'm seeing race I'm seeing race war. I'm seeing civil war. I'm seeing that old trigger being quote unquote prepared. I'm seeing it get. I'm seeing it get riled up, woken up, charged up. I started talking about it. Look, pay attention to this. If the corona hit Turkey, hit Iran, which is Persia, it hit China, which is the Mongol. That's the whole Silk Road and whatnot. The Silk Road dealt with the bartering of slaves. It dealt with the selling of slaves, caravans of slaves and whatnot. Maybe not chattel slavery, but it was one of the beginning initiates of, the whole slave trade, because we're talking about human trafficking, sex trafficking, organ harvesting, things of that nature, going all the way back then. Fast forward to what was going on in Turkey. Turkey's dealing with the quote-unquote Moors, or Turkey is the Ottoman Empire, right? Turkey is dealing with the Moors as vassals towards the quote-unquote 17 and the 1800s and things of that nature, leading up into World War I, right? So they feature prominently in Moorish history, Ados history, slavery history, and things of that nature. Then it conspicuously, it goes into Rome, right? Northern Rome, the same place where there's a patron saint called Corona for flus and pandemics. Like, this is no coincidence that it goes directly into Northern Italy, where the news conveniently leaves out the fact that that's Rome. But even before going into Northern Italy, where does it strike? It strikes the Pope. The Pope gets sick early in the game. The Pope gets struck down early in the game. The people in quote unquote Vatican City begin to quote unquote get sick because they have this whole attachment to their popes, the same way that you had Indian tribes that were attached to their chiefs or their sachems. And you have people who are in Southern America, South Americans, they were attached to their sun king, one of their deities. And if you killed them, if you slayed them in front of the village would begin to die. The people, you would say them well, right? Like even in Kemet, when the quote unquote Nesut Bidi died, everybody went with him. So just people need to go back when the live stream was shot on 125th. People do not need to go back when the live stream was shot on 125th. 125th was 125th. We're in 2020, fam. Going back for what? That work that was done on 125th Street, that work was done at that time for that time. Why go back? We are galactical. We're global. The 125th era is over. It was done. Why would you want to revisit something that was done? It died. It was over in 2016. Nobody's identifying what the new era is. I'm currently in Atlanta right now. I want to have that conversation about why are we not having a conversation about the new Harlem or the new place or the new energy center. You feel me? To create new content, to create new results. It's 2020. It's a new era. We're in a new epoch. Like I said, this is a shift. This is the solstice, not the soul, but the solstice, the sun, S-O-L, and the S-O-U-L, the solstice shift. And we're here now. So we're not going backwards. Forwards, not backwards. Forwards. So going back to what we were saying earlier or a minute ago, this here is this after it was in Italy, after it was in Rome, after it was in a place. Now, if you want to talk about the people who have a hand in our slavery, if you want to talk about the people who had a hand in the quote unquote oppression of the people, if you want to talk about the quote unquote culprits who were behind the the Dark Ages that put billions of people underneath the sword of Rome. Well, it's Rome that by way of the papal bulls, by way of what is called the doctrine of discovery, right? Then after it was in Italy, it turned into COVID-19. But before it got to America, where did it hit? It hit Boris Johnson and it hit the United Kingdoms. Is that not another place that is the quote unquote hotbed of the slavery trade? Is that not the quote unquote British Empire? Is that not the progenitors of chattel slavery? So that even the direction that the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, even the trajectory that it was going in, it was almost like a history lesson in slavery and how it depreciated into what we found as chattel slavery. And then when it came to America, it came to New Orleans first. No, it came to Seattle, Washington. Then it blew up in Chicago and Cook County Jail. Then it blew up in New York City, which is Wall Street, which is the financial empire of slavery, right? By way of Wall Street, by way of insurance, by way of the monetization of the African womb and the African body and the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Indian bodies. You understand? That Wall Street, the walls that they were auctioning our people on, right? The Empire State. The Empire State was brought to his knees. It was crippled by the coronavirus. There was no other state that took a hit the hardest, in my humble opinion, than New York City. Then after the coronavirus, New York City got further crippled by riots. It got crushed to the point that when I went back to the city, it didn't feel like a city. It didn't feel like a city that I could relate to. You know what I mean? And then I found out this weekend that 19 people got shot, right? Over the, you know, because remember, we did a ritual and we shared with you that the hot moon was coming. Remember hot moon? Well, the hot moon, what did we say? The hot moon was coming, right? There was just a moon that came and we were like, yo, that's the hot moon. It's about to be hot. Why was it 100 degrees in Antarctica yesterday? Why is there a heat wave already in America killing a large amount of people? And you know it's not us. You know it's not us, right? You know it's not us. Peace to Urban Next TV in the building, Black Dot in the building. There's a heat wave that's already cooking, and it's not, and it just the summer solstice was yesterday. But prior to that, when the hot moon or the hot summer came in, it's already been heating up. There's been a report of 100 degrees in Antarctica. So when you think about it, theoretically, what does that say? That says beyond theory or beyond speculation that the poles have shifted. You can play with it if you want, but that is a telltale sign of a complete shift. The shift is complete because it hit 100 in Antarctica. There's a shift, you know? So yes, there's a solstice shift taking place. There is a paradigm shift taking place before our very eyes. We are literally leveling up to a whole nother reality. What was promised to us was an apocalypse. What was given to us was an apocalypse. And what an apocalypse is, ladies and gentlemen, is an awakening. It's simply an awakening. It is a revealing, meaning that your eyes are being opened up. Okay, you have a certain light that is able. Remember, we process only a certain percentage of the light spectrum. So when you're able to open your pupils, your aperture, this pupil, right? When it opens up, when the aperture opens up, the same way in the camera. Where's that camera at? Bashir. The same way, let me show you in the camera, when the aperture of the camera opens up, what does it do? It opens up and it allows more light to enter. When more light enters into the camera, you get a clearer picture. So many people can see clearer today than they've ever seen in their life. Okay, this is the camera. That's the aperture, right? That's the same thing that happens when you meditate. That's the same thing that may take place when you take plant medicine. That's the same thing that takes place when some people light up and whatnot. You are opening up your faculties. You're opening up the ability to receive certain kind of information and certain kind of light. And that is what we see right now. The babies can see. The young ones, the star seeds, the indigos, they're fully awake. They can see through everything right now. They can see through everything right now. So what opened up and what is continuing to open up is possibilities, windows of possibilities, windows of opportunity, right? Being black is lit right now. You know what I'm talking about? Being conscious is a trend, but it's a trend that we can mold, right? We could work with that versus working with something that's going completely against our nature. We have people amongst us who are more essential now than ever. We must celebrate these people and we got to hail these people up, right? So what I want to do without going any further is I want to hail up one of the brothers who is, you know, I'm out here. I'm in these streets. I'm in the trenches. I was in Atlanta. I came here on Friday. I'll talk to you about what Thursday was about in a minute. But the minute we touched base, the minute I touched the cement, I linked up with Blue Pill. I linked up with Keys. Pop Darby was in town. I linked up with Bashir. And then we linked up with Billionaire PA later on. But the minute I linked up with these brothers, I was able to witness with my very own eyes, you know, a wave of leadership, a wave of, you know, a fresh breath of air, a new energy that the youth, right, the women, the babies, and the streets and the hood and everybody, they are gravitating towards my brother 19 Keys. His movement is very strong out here in these tweets and in these streets. You know what I'm talking about? In these tweets and in these streets. And this whole weekend has been mystical, it's been magical. I haven't even been online like that because this is not an online type of thing right there. We, you know, happened, but the energy, we were going with the energy. The energy was majestic. The energy was shifting. It wasn't time. It wasn't time to do too much. It wasn't a heavy weekend. This was a weekend to not do too much heavy lifting. There's 5 planets in retrograde, right? There's 5 planets in retrograde. The best thing that you could do is dance with the rhythm and dance with the frequencies. We moved with the frequencies. We celebrated life. We got into ceremony, right? Did we not? We created. We made creation, which is music and other forms of content. We magnetize on. I'm talking about within a few hours. We brought one of the hottest artists within our quote unquote our spheres of influence, right? In order to share space with Little Baby, right? And that happened organically. And there was other things that's taken place, and we'll get into all of that. But I want to bring my brother 19 Keys on, and I want him to drop some information about what he got going on and what he's been doing, and what this shift is about. So without further ado, 19 Keys. All right. Blessings, family. Blessings. Bashir, let me see that. I gotta see that, Bashir. Bashir. I need to charge up at the same time. Awesome. Peace, family. Peace, family. How we doing today? I hope everybody feeling powerful. I hope everybody is tapped into who they are and they know who they supposed to be. If you don't, you will be confused for the rest of time. And this is a conversation that we're about to get into, is an observation of time, because that is what we're dealing with. I would dare say that most people don't understand time. You know, time is not something to be captured out of. Time be quantified with a particular understanding of time as being capital T. Anytime the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote about time in the theology of time, which was the secrets of time, he always wrote about it with a capital T. And that's important to understand, because time itself is the creator of motion, if you would understand it in many different ways. But I have a project coming out called 19 Keys to Observation of Time. And when we are thinking about what's happening right now, there are different people who are going to observe this from different lenses. Those are the high observers. Those are the low-level observers. You can only see the world based upon your observations and what you know. You understand me? What your electrical signals are that can connect information and then put meaning and reason behind it and show you what you're seeing. So when I look at things, and especially right now, today is not the same world that it was yesterday. And I mean that in a very literal sense. You understand me? The shifts of energy has changed. Now, I'm going to say something, right? Because I know that there's a lot of ignorance that's here in time right now. Most people don't understand symbols. You understand me? Most people don't understand reality in a way it's to be digested, because most people don't study for themselves. There are people who still believe that, you know, the symbols of the sun, moon, and stars belong to Masons. You understand me? Or Masonic lodges or things of that nature. They haven't studied their own Moorish history. They haven't studied the Akan people in Ghana. You understand me? You haven't studied the Dogons. I mean, really, you haven't studied anything. The Kemets, or what's the ones that forbid knowledge love so much? The Anunnaki. You understand me? The Sumerians. Yeah, and they denoted the sun, moon, and stars as a representation of their gods. So the interesting aspect of that, you understand me, is that we are people who are clickbait researchers. We don't even go beyond the understanding. We see a title and we say, oh, that must be true. We hear a couple of hours and we say, oh, because this person yelled it, because this person presented this to us, I don't need to go study anything else. I'm not about to go beyond what I was just told. And that's the same thing that happens in school. That's how they whoop you into shape. Me, I'm uncontrolled opposition. You understand me? Uncontrolled opposition. So uncontrolled opposition is the opposition to this world that can't be controlled and can't be bought. Because ain't nothing you can give me. Ain't nothing I want from you. I enjoyed my freedom. Ain't no backdoor deals to make with no suckers or no snakes. So today you're seeing, yeah, you got the deep state. Yeah, you got controlled opposition. Yeah, you got what's the other stuff that they got? It's two different ones. But as we are taking on these definitions of what's out there, you have to place yourself to say, okay, where am I in this? Right? So I came up with uncontrolled opposition, because you can't just study the enemy and not know yourself. You can't read a book and not see yourself in it. You can't observe time and not see yourself standing in the middle and saying, damn, where the fuck is my place at? They telling me about the enemy, but they ain't told me I was a god this whole time. All they did was try to expose the devil. Where the fuck is my role in this whole thing? So in the world that we living in right now, and what he was talking about is that you're seeing the uncontrolled opposition. You're seeing the rise of the gods, the rise of that solar energy. Now I'm going to tell you something, and this is something that most people are not talking about. If the world is getting hotter, there's a certain class of people who won't survive that first. If the solar is rising, there's a certain class of people who won't be first to go. because they were not made for the solar rising.
Right.
So if the earth is heating up, nobody's pointing out like, oh shit, white folks, y'all okay?
Y'all all right?
Y'all gonna be the first to go. Don't you know that? But see, what you don't understand, that there's a natural cleansing that happened in that remedy. Let me tell you why. It's the same thing with the disease or a germ. It clears out in the summertime, right?
That's right.
You understand me? Something that's unnatural. That's a mutation. But see now, imagine if the planet gets so hot and that solar rise and it wipes out a certain people who cannot already are not procreating and producing, but now even more cancers are rising up. You understand me? And the people who weren't meant for the sun because they got that melanin, they don't charge in the sun. That's right? So that means that if these people are gone, all right, well, how are the chemicals happening on the planet Earth in the first place that's causing this heat in the atmosphere, that's causing this planet to rise up? Well, those portrayers and those producers of those particular chemicals, if they die off, oh, the earth goes back into nature and replenish mode. The same thing that had happened when, guess what? Everybody had to go in the house and then the animals came out. Extinct animals are being found.
That's right.
So if that's happening in nature, then what is happening in the inner nature of people? Something that we thought was lost in people is coming out.
The animal nature, the primal nature. The man is not domesticated. So the same way that the animals are able to do what? Go from hiding, go from being scared, go from being unnatural in their unnatural habitat. They're returning to their habitat because we're going back to our primal. We're going back to our original. We're going back to our proper persona, our aboriginal selves, right? Because look, the son is the father. So when the father shows up, as in when the father shows up anywhere, what does the father bring? Discipline. So when the children are unruly, the father comes and he spanks them. The children get stepped on. So now the children that the father is coming to straighten up is the children that have been running wild on their mama. They've been running wild like little Timmy in the mall with the leash on him, right? Running until they have to, you know what I'm saying? Little Bartholomew and whatnot with the leash in the mall. The children running wild, cursing their mothers out, disrespecting mama, right? Disrespecting Mother Earth, disrespecting Gaia, disrespecting her by desecrating her. The father, who is the son, he's coming. They're still wrecking shit until he shows up. He shows up, is higher and breeds certain pedigrees and certain kinds, they begin to die off. Now, the other ones who said that they're equal with you, that are not, right? They still could survive because some of them have melanin inside of them, which will begin to come to the surface and they'll be absorbed into the human family and whatnot. But this is a process, but it's taking place because the poles have definitely shifted. It was 100 degrees in the Antarctica on the same day of the summer solstice, the quote unquote Father's Day. It's divine prophecy, Corona rising.
Now, let me tell y'all this. In 20, 30 years, it will benefit white folks to not have none of those statues up. It will benefit them not to have a single reminder of the history and how they treated the people when they are a minority people that's classified in America. Because here you got all of these Mexican brothers, all these black folks, all these Asians.
Right.
And they walk past a statue. And they said, man, this was your folks, huh? And they just get mad and have a flashback.
You know what I'm saying?
And then just smack little Timothy for what Abe did.
You know what I mean?
Smack little Timothy for what Thomas Jefferson did. Smack little Timothy for Christopher Columbus.
Hey, come here.
You understand me?
Come here.
No, they like, no, you know what? Y'all put some Martin Luther King in place. So when our children grow up in the street, y'all ain't got to be reminded of all that. I don't want y'all to have no issues with us. That history didn't even exist. Now, the danger and the reality of it, right? The danger is that the next generation has to be educated by us so that they never forget, right? To forget is to forgive. You understand me? Because it's absence of acknowledgement. And so the remembrance is so that you never go back, so that you don't steep in their nature, doesn't get, you don't get caught up in their nature. You need reminders of their nature. So that has to be taught and ingrained and say that no, the nature of the people that may be so well integrated within society still exists as a sleeping giant. So that if you get too close and you get too comfortable, then that nature can start taking over covertly. So it's important to have that history to be understood, to always be there, and to never forget not only your own history, but their history as well. Right. But to be taught in a manner that keeps you abreast with the nature of the people that you're dealing with. But their world is going down. Right. And we see it every single day. Now, symbols. I wanted to speak on symbols on purpose because what we are seeing is a symbolic change, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you think about symbols in the context of words and the utilization of words, those are not powerful enough to strike change in the mind and to go into the subconscious. You understand me? Context with words and languages, those are different. But our DNA recognizes symbols. Our subconscious mind is primed towards symbols because symbols have auto-suggestion, right? Symbols have dimensions of frequency automatically that connects to our subconscious mind, and it taps us in, and it can cause a particular realization. So once you see a symbol, you can't tell it no, right? You see a symbol of white supremacy, it's automatically imbued with a certain programming. Like so a picture of Jesus never has to say a word, but the symbol has already spoken to you. It's already communicated. There's a language embedded in it. Right. So the destruction of symbols is a constructive aspect of allowing your mind to think naturally as it would without this particular interruption. So the symbols has to be there because they know that those symbols are constantly creating the framework of the myth of white supremacy. Without those symbols and reminders, you remember that you are God. They have to remind you that they are your God. No, I need you to see this symbol of white supremacy. I need you to see the symbols of these brands. Every brand has to market to you. White supremacy is marketed through symbols.
Speak about logos, please.
So logos. And logos are just like memes. You know, memes are symbols as well. Memes have so much power in their ability to communicate suggestive ideas and artistic expression. You understand me? But when you go to a logo, and it's the same way if I see a Coca-Cola logo. Now, because I've seen commercials of Coca-Cola, hundreds of them, thousands, and Coca-Cola has been embedded into commercials and videos and movies and celebrities and influence. Whether you've registered every single time that you've seen it, these are bits and pieces that are connected that you have some memory bank that every time that you see that symbol, now you're throwing that in there. Okay, cool. That's another collection. Because subconsciously you see everything, whether you know it consciously or not, because they're trying to get to your subconscious mind. So you be on auto suggestion. Because when you're making decisions in the grocery store on which drink to buy, you're not critically thinking, you're just on auto suggestion. Oh, which one everyone has the most real estate in your mind, that's the most branded, has the most neural connections, I'm making that decision, right? So the logos themselves act as communication factories. You understand me? So therefore it taps into that real estate that's in your mind. So now, okay, that's how I'm about to move. You understand me? That's the same reason why white supremacy made sex such a powerful symbol. So you can see it everywhere. So if you take that Star of David, right? Take that Jewish Star of David. Now y'all want to talk about stars, but you ain't even being taught the right game, right? Take that Jewish Star of David. And it's like two pyramids, right? One up top and then one going down, right? Now, we know man is being represented as arm, leg, arm, head. But in that Star of David, it also has a representation, right? Because you have different points of energy, right? Arm, leg, arm, head. Different points of energy, but then also you have your lower self, your lower staff. You understand me? So they have a symbol of a triangle pointed downward. And it's a representation of your energy systems, right? So your energy can be pointed upward to where it's here, right? Now, all your energy is here. It's not supposed to just stop, period. That's your crown chakra, right? But it's supposed to go upward. You understand me? And it flows beyond that. Now, if I see some titties and some thick ass, all of a sudden my blood is not rushing up here. I'm not thinking logical. It's going down here. You understand me? To my lower abdominal areas, exciting that thought process. And blood is energy, so it flows. So now you're being flowed and controlled by that energy. So the sex has to consistently sell and remind you so that you're not thinking in a higher manner, because the moment the black man is not distracted, you understand me, by the symbols of his oppression, he starts to rise into a higher thinking. So therefore, the symbols have to be consistent everywhere. They have to constantly sell you sex and everything. Hip hop has to constantly sell you sex and death. Now, death and sex are intertwined. There's some cultures at the funerals, the young people meet up. They get hotel rooms, they have parties, and they have grief sex. You understand me? Sex, there's this, and then in our culture, there's this connection to live fast, die fast. You understand me? Live on the edge. You understand me? There's a glorification of death. So it's not the glorification of life, because the glorification of life will be like, all right, you understand me? Because in the hood, the most gangster shit is what? It's when you do dangerous shit that can kill you. You understand me? When you live in a lifestyle that is a death style to where I'm not eating right ain't glorified as gangster. Nah, bro, like, nigga, eat what the fuck you want to, bro. What you talking about? Nigga, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, this nigga talking about putting condoms on. Nigga, man, fuck that bitch, go raw. You know what I'm talking about? You understand me? Like, nigga, go shoot these niggas, rob this nigga, do all this shit that can get you closer to death. Go commit a criminal act, man, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about? Live life on the edge, nigga. Speed, nigga, live. You know what I'm talking about? YOLO, you only live once. So even the idea of YOLO, you only live once, is backwards, because they're saying you only have one of these things, so treat it however. But that's a backwards and asset appreciation. Because if I only have one, then I want to treat it the best, because I can never get this back again. You know what I'm talking about? So the person that be like, you know what? Nah, man, I'm about to eat good for myself. Oh, nigga, that ain't gangster. Nigga talking about he a vegan. He a square ass nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Life is not glorified. Life is not glorified in our communities. Death is. So it's not until we change those symbols and that thinking to where we can glorify those who speak life into us. Right? So it's always talking about some positive shit. Why? Because positive, right? Those are words and affirmations that can affirm vibrations and give and produce life. Literally. You understand me? So anybody that's speaking that life into you, you're like, man, these niggas, man. No, I need you to speak some death and life at the same time. You understand me? Because a dead man wants to hear a dead language. You know what I'm talking about? He dead. He don't want to hear no life. He don't want to hear that shit like, nigga, I'm dying over here. Like, I live to die. I want some lean. You know what I'm talking about? I want some more drugs. I'm trying to die. I don't know what y'all niggas talking about. All this living to 100 shit. I don't know. Y'all brothers talking about get all disciplined and live life. I don't know nothing about that. I want death. You know what I mean? Necromancy. You know what I'm talking about? Speak to me like I'm a dead man. Book of the dead. But they ain't even understand that was talking about life. You know what I'm talking about? Anything that... Here's the secret of it, right? Because at an atomic level, right, we are fast-moving molecules. We are vibrating, right? Vibration lets you know something is alive. The state where something is dead is meaning that it's no longer in motion. Its vibratory frequency is not high anymore. It is low, right? When something has a low vibratory frequency, and when a people has a low vibratory frequency, they are dead people. So we are in a mentally state that are dead people, the walking dead, the zombies. So what happens, right? So, okay, you gotta put life in these people. Dr. Sebi was saying that, man, y'all gotta eat electrical foods. You understand me? You gotta wake up, like y'all gotta be alive. You gotta understand that Frankenstein was the doctor that created the dead man. You understand me? He had that dead man walking, but that dead man, he ain't had no intellect. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they consider him to be alive because he was moving and he was walking, but where was his mind at? See, there's different levels and states, and the black man and woman are dead gods. Not all of us, but those who awaken, of course, can be restored and repaired. So the reparations, the repairment of one mind, so that you can govern your own mental, so you're a candidate for yourself. You understand me? that reparation starts with the word, right? See, this word begins light in the mind. You know what I'm talking about? Now, all of this ties into the reality of what's going on today. Because in order for you to consistently awaken the people, you have to consistently give them the symbols of life and the words of life. And as the people continue to waken up, they need more to stimulate that awakening. So therefore, like my brother C, you may see controlled opposition speaking a little more life into people because they have to do what? They have to have shock value. What is shock? That shock is that electrical truth. All truth is electrical. So when you teach a person the truth, it has an electrical awakening in their mind and it stimulates the brain. And all of a sudden, whoa, that was a neural connection up in there. What's going on? Like, you just woke me up. Thank you. I'm electrified. So they realize this, that, oh, I got to speak some truth like brother, awaken the people so that in that state of the moment, I can throw in my agenda. Hey, Jesus is what? Jesus is black. Hey, vote. Got you. Thank you. I just needed you awoke just enough to get that message in. Otherwise, they lose. They lose their constituency to the people that are consistently speaking truth. You understand me? Because you're not giving them any life. So those old talking points, as the higher level of consciousness that the people arise to, the harder it is to keep them, you understand me, at bay with just dead words. And so we are moving as a type 2 civilization, right? And type 1 civilization, you understand me, Michael Pichu, when he regarded the Carter shift scale, and he talks about civilizations moving into new energy sectors, you understand me, and being more effective, is saying that where we currently are is we utilize dead coal, you understand me, and plants to harness our energy. Dead coal and plants. You understand me? So that means that if we want to relate that, because everything that I learned, I always related to the diaspora and our people, right? So the diaspora and our people, if that's dead coal, I look at it, those are like dead leaders, right? We need all our dead leaders to give us life. Oh, I got to go back to 50 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? When Malcolm was speaking in order to get me some life. I can't listen to y'all today. No, I need somebody that's dead to tell me something. Give me one of the dead leaders. That our whole movements have been charged off of our dead leaders. Those are our coal and our plants. We put them, we mix them, we shovel them in. You feel me? And that fuels us up. But today, the same way they switching over. Gas is at an all-time low. You know what I'm talking about? That industry is interrupted. They thinking about harnessing energy from the sun, which is a type 2 civilization, because the sun in 1 hour has enough energy to power up every device in the world. You know what I'm talking about? So that means that, wait a minute, what about the jewels that the current generation is dropping? Wait a minute, I'm talking about joules, Joules. You know what I'm talking about? They dropping watts of energy every single day. And we're not even utilizing that electricity as the fountain for the generator. The current generation is the generator. You understand me saying that? Wait a minute, what if we just pull the joules that they talking about? I think the movement will go further. We'd be a type 1 civilization. You know what I'm talking about? We'll be somewhere. What if we listen to them now that's alive? Why don't we just pull from the energy of the people that's alive, that's around us, which is like those ions of energy that are in the air that we can pull from that certain energy? Let's listen to the suns. You know what I'm talking about? So that means that, wait a minute, y'all can listen to each other in real time, take advice, and be effective. That will require what? Unity. Whoa. Y'all unified? Oh, no, that's too dangerous. Y'all a type 1 civilization. You understand me? Y'all got one stream of messaging. You understand me? Y'all have one stream of agenda. You understand me? So that is what we're working towards and what we're getting towards. Behind the scenes, whether you know it or not, the brain trust of America, of Black America thought, of dangerous thoughts, is a very small microcosm of individuals that are leading the charge. Leading the charge. And whether I'm talking about all your favorites is watching, your headlines that you seeing, whether you know it or not, oh, it's somebody behind those, and y'all already know who the people are. You just need to see the proof, and we go drop. Look, at the end of the year, I'm dropping all receipts, every single goddamn, because I need y'all to know what happened this year. The conversations behind the doors, the DMs behind
behind the pages, the platforms. You understand me?
Right.
There's a study that can be contested to say that this was the brain charge. This what moved our culture to a type 1. So when we're not afraid to put those people outward, though, right? When we're not afraid to put those people outward, it changes the game. Now, I'm gonna let y'all answer this question, and whether you know it or not.
End that line for me.
The most requested speaker during this that was considered to be essential was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The most requested. Now, why I say that is because everybody kept asking where he at. Everybody wanted to hear. So if there's a pandemic, something goes wrong, and you're looking for leadership, and everybody's begging for a central figure to come out and give them information, they saying that you have what we need to lead the charge. But see, the problem with that is that we are a society that can't appreciate people in real time. We have to wait till people die to appreciate them, or we have to wait till there are dire situations to where we feel like we are closer to death. And then we say, speak some life into us. But does that mean that you deserve it at that time? Does that mean that you deserve it? You understand me? So there's an important understanding that has to happen, that we cannot be a people who appreciate only when you die, because then you become just like the Black Lives Matter movement. And you utilize the dead bodies of the sons, right? An uncivilized civilization that haven't moved nowhere. You understand me? Saying that no, when a dead man dies, there was a picture in Time magazine, where was a black woman standing up with a young black child on her side and a picture of George Floyd on her chest. And then the whole crowd behind her, and there's a movement. And that is the most accurate depiction of Black Lives Matter to this day. Because it shows the black man, not alive, but dead, fueling the movement. So that's a symbol saying that, well, no, the most important black man in today, and their movement is saying a dead black man.
Facts.
But see, the live black men and women today, the live black men and women today are the most important. So as we destroy those symbols, I'm getting to this point to say that, what are the symbols that go up next? And see, we think that this is about an ego thing. Oh, we want to prop these people up. No. We want the right symbols to communicate to our people, so it can build the next world, the hereafter. See, there's going to be a point in time where our people are so advanced. You know, leaders are not even necessary. Everybody's just on this type of time. Everybody's on this type of time. You understand me? Like we on some stuff, like we trying to figure out which scientists in the community is going to invent, you know, new neutron stars or something. We ain't on no type of time like who go drop the best bars and who gonna be figuring out food insecurities and stuff like that. You understand me? That's nothing. It's nothing. You understand me? We on a type of time who producing the best dreams, not getting rid of the worst nightmares. So in reality, our goal is to be able to replace those symbols with living ones. You understand me? Ones that we can utilize that charge us up in the moment. And we will work on a project and get that done. So when you destroy one thing, you have to put something better in place, because this particular society is all about deconstructionism. So you want to destroy everything, right? But see, it's like a bulldozer. What comes up in the ashes? So we destroy marriage. They want to destroy the nuclear family. They want to destroy everything that our ancestors ever built. Now you have white folks pitted against themselves. They go destroy everything their ancestors ever built. Now, I don't mind the deconstruction, but my goal is to say we have to put something better in place. We don't need empty space. Fill the void with something better. I won't tell a person, look, you eating terrible. My nigga, like, bro, what the fuck is you eating over there? No, I'm going to educate you on the right foods to eat. So therefore, now you have a basis of how to make a decision when you want to live. If you want to die, bruh, eat whatever you want to get you closer to death. But if you want to live, and that's a decision that you're making, and of our people saying, we're not fighting this movement so we can stop dying. We're fighting this movement so we can start living. That is a different representation. So if we want to start living, then I say, okay, well, what's going to get us power? What are the necessities towards life? Well, once we knock out the necessities and we got that Maslow's pyramid, food, clothing, and shelter. Cool. We got that. But first was on that food, right? My brother Blue Pill always points out, what's the first? Food. We knock out the food. We get the food for the people. All right, we eating good. We destroy all of the food deserts. We got food oases. You know what I'm talking about? All right, we knock out the food. We get the clothing. We get the textile factories. Go out to Africa. We build the textile factories on the land because they have a lot of it. You know what I'm talking about? And they have the operation to be able to get it done. So we built that. We create the import-export. Cool. Now we got the whole clothing industry locked down. You know what I'm talking about? We go keep it two Virgils on that one. You know what I'm talking about? We gonna make it off black. You understand me? So after we get the cool clothing, you know what I'm talking about? Now we getting the land so we can build the shelter, right? Because we getting paper. We got the land locked down. So I ain't talking about just getting you food, clothing, and shelter. I'm talking about producing the food, clothing, and shelter, where you become a prosumer. A prosumer is one who produces what they consume. So if the community of black people want to advance as a civilization, the same way if you put a solar power on the top of your house and you consume electricity, then of course you want to also produce that electricity all at the same time. Otherwise, you are dependent upon the source that gives you the electricity in the first place because you are on the grid of white power. Now that's real white power. See, y'all worry about them white boys skinheads with a little swastika symbol that they stole from our people, the original people. They walking around with symbols of us on it. You understand me? Don't even know that they branded, nigga, they branded with our symbols. If they so motherfucking powerful, why didn't they make their own symbols? Right. Think about that. The very symbol on them white boys represent that we own them. Right. Because their greatest symbol is a representation of us. See, y'all don't be thinking. They put a 666. That's a representation of us. That's right. Come on now. Swastika. Them boys just want to be us. That's all. That's all it is. They misguided little children. You ever had the white boy in the hood? Yeah. He get the dressing like you, get the talking like you. He want to try to get with your girl. You got to slap him up like back up. You can play a quick pickup game, but when we get to you said nigga one too many times. You was cool for a whole month. Then homie done slapped you up. Back. Now you can't come back on the block. Yep. You know what I'm talking about? So they are thieves, but they want to be us in every sense. You understand me? They want to be us in every sense. So at the end of the day, if you really want to make these white boys mad, that's the kind of information we put out. Make them feel stupid. Make them feel like, damn, did they just reverse our symbolism and say that this shit that I got tatted on me means that I'm branded and we didn't come up with this. So it means that it's really a representation of black power. Did they really? Is that what they saying in society? They really did that. Is that what they saying? See, if you want to fuck with the enemy, right? It's a psychological warfare that has to take place. See, everybody want to pick up the guns, right? You know what I mean? They ain't killed a lot of black men without shooting them. They ain't killed a lot of black men. They ain't had to put a gun on them. I ain't had to put nothing on them. See, they went to the mine. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't shot down your self-respect. You understand me? That man walk. They didn't shot down your knowledge of self. So now you don't know yourself. So you're already shot to hell up. They ain't had to pick up no gun. They put it in the books and made you read about them. So every time you were spending time between those ages of 1 through 9 through that theta and beta stage of impressioning, you was becoming a version of them. So at this particular stage in time, the psychological warfare that we have to implement in our strategies is very important. But see, a Negro, nigga, you get mad, nigga, no, I'm Miller, I'm gonna go on the street and kill something. Come on now, that ain't real warfare. That ain't warfare. That's what you learn from the white boys is warfare. Let's be honest. You learn that as warfare that said the white boys, they go out there, shoot some shit up, and you think you don't won. That ain't how you conquer a people. That ain't how you defeat a people. Nuh-uh. That ain't how it works. So if you really want to be on some warfare type activities, then you have to start in the psychological realm. That's when we really playing the game. Oh, now that's the real warfare. Psychological first. See, the white men utilize technology and deceit. You understand me? Even in Stasi, Germany, right? Because we live in Stasi, Germany right now, right? They want to get back to that because that was a template, right, for world domination. That's what it was. It was a template for world domination. So, and so when we look at that, what they would do sometimes, they'd go into people's houses while they wasn't there, and they would rearrange furniture. They rearrange pictures every single day. So every time that person walked in to the house, they'd be confused. And they kept the people in a state of confusion. Now imagine, we confuse these white folks. They don't know what to think right now. You understand me? So as I'm thinking about ways and tactics, and if you really want to get dangerous to the world that we live in, then that means that we have to start playing a psychological warfare and start playing psychological war games, because we ain't got enough guns and we don't have enough people on the same agenda that's ready to take orders, that's trained up to a particular standard to say that not only you got your guns, but how many times you've been to tactical field training? How many times, like, they go hunting? Don't you know that they go hunting? They go hunting for brown things in the woods. So it's easy to go hunting for brown things on the streets. You know what I'm talking about? They got badges to do that. So the psychological warfare first has to be played on your own children, meaning that you have to get them to know themselves first, because they lost. You don't know what they learning on TikTok. You don't know what their friends have showed them. Their friends is like, man, trans lives matter. Their friends is like, don't identify me as a gender. Their friends is like, you know what I mean? I ain't with all that hotel shit. That's how your friends speaking. They say, oh, you don't wanna try kissing me, you a homophobe? That's what they little friends are saying. That's what they going to school with. So the psychological warfare that is taking place in these schools with these children is the first damaging effect to make sure that the boy is destroyed so that he never becomes a man and doesn't want to. Because why? These other children, they looking up and they know words like toxic masculinity. They say, nah, nigga, that's toxic masculinity, bro. So, and then I always reverse the question and say, well, what's toxic femininity? Give me an example of toxic masculinity, right? So if you say that this is toxic masculinity when a man, let's say, hits a woman, right? Well, what is that action when a woman loses her emotion and hits a man, or becomes a stalker? You understand me? Or whatever it may be, an abusive mother. What is that called? Can anybody answer that question for me? Anybody? I just want to know. If you can't answer that question for me, in a living that we have the laws of polarity, right? Because this is what you have to qualify, and this is why it gets fucked up. Because people say reverse racism is not the opposite of racism. Not being fucking racist is the opposite of racism, right? Reverse racism, that shit is stupid. It give you these terms that don't make sense. Oxymorons that don't make sense. You understand me? And then people be like, well, reverse racism is not real. Yeah, because that shit is not real. But not being a racist is real. But black people, because by definition, racism is when, you know, you can utilize your bias and discrimination against another people based upon your power and your ability to do so. Right? So black people, for the most part, time when we enact racism is against each other. Because that's what we call self-hate. And when a person pulls a gun on another black person because he's black and he feel like he can get away with it, he can murder that nigga for disrespect. That's racism. That's self-hate. So that's the time we utilize our power. We might walk past a business because it's black owned, not shot with them. Why? We racist towards each other. That's self-hate. You know what I'm talking about? We utilize our power, our money, you understand me, even our politics, to be racist towards each other. So no, I'm not going to tell you black people can't be racist. You understand me? I would just say that we don't particularly have enough power to be racist towards other races besides ourselves. So no, it destroys the argument to say, well, no, y'all can't be racist. You understand me? The same way people will say, well, they can't be toxic femininity. No, every single thing has a polar opposite. That's the law. So toxic masculinity, you understand me? And the opposite of toxic masculinity wouldn't be toxic femininity in reality. It really would be divine masculinity. But nobody wants to speak on that. Because then you got to describe that. You have to show that. You have to represent that. And be responsible. But if that exists in men, then what is toxic femininity? See, when you talk about freedom, justice, and equality, meaning things are equal amongst all. You understand me? But there's a particular order. See, once you're free, you have justice. Once you have justice, you can be equal. Once you are equal, you are living a righteous way of life, like the original people on this planet Earth. So these are particular ways upon how it's a mathematical order and how we get back to the restoration of self and how we get repairment. So today, as we fight for these things and as we destroy these symbols and as we are going through particular vectors of time, and we may see the rest of the world starts to fade off a little bit, right? Because we got this particular, we've been working hard. Let's just say this, right? The world has been working hard. You understand me? The world has been working hard. And so right now, people's spirits in the transition of what's happening in time, they need a quick rest because they've been angry for so long, and it's hard to hold in that anger without having a positive, healthy release. So Juneteenth gave people a release and said, whew, let me breathe. Because you got to remember, everybody can't breathe. That's been the chant for so long. So that means that there's a disruption in spirit because breath, prana, breathing is directly attached to peace. You understand me? And control and power and mastery. So when a Tai Chi master, they move slow. It's all about the control of breathing, energy, and that flow of energy. But the entire movement is based upon you can't breathe. So now when you had an opportunity to breathe a little bit during Juneteenth weekend, you understand me? You don't want to go back to that spirit that you had at first because you realize like, man, that shit was toxic. It was poisonous. To hold on to that much confusion, not anger, confusion. We seen white people doing shit we never seen white people do. The conscious community was confused. What the fuck is this? Did they just break down some bars better than I broke down on Becky and Karen? Did they break down some shit on slavery? I didn't even break it down like that. These people was getting analytical and breaking things down with pie charts and graphs. You know what I'm talking about? What? So we was confused like, yo, wake me up when this is over. I don't know if I even like this, bro. It's like the Panthers coming out there and calling police pigs, and the police like, and we are pigs. Like, sorry, like we just been oppressing you guys for so long. You're like, yo, what? Yo, I came out here to like fuck with y'all. Like, no, we agree with y'all. Like, we've been doing everything wrong the whole time. Like, no, everything is backwards. It's terrible. My bad. I'm sorry. What y'all want? Reparations? Yeah. What y'all cutting checks? Y'all couldn't. You know what I mean, the $1,200 was no. Y'all cutting real checks. So we've been confused for a very long time, right? Which seems like almost forever. This last month, if you think about it and quantify that time, it was not 30 days. Yeah. That time period, you can think almost like it acted as a span of time that went on forever. So now we are in this period because it's like it's almost like how they show the graphs between the coronavirus cases. It went up to a spike. It had a spike. And now it's kind of like going down. It's going to have another spike. Don't get worried. Don't worry. July is going to be an interesting month. See, July, the symbolism, July 4th. Yeah. this is when we get deep, right? It's when you start to understand a date, chronos. You understand me? Or chronon, meaning time. You understand me? Chronon also opportune time, when you understand science in Greek and aspects of time. But when you look at Kronos, the father time, which is a bearded white man, and who represent father time in Greek philosophy, and it also represents the father and the son being at war with each other, in a war that's at balance, and an older generation and a younger generation that's constantly in balance and fighting each other. Right. And then when you understand the Kronos complex in the way that Freud broke it down as a representation of the white man always putting his woman last, and the only time that she had value is when she had a son. That is his paradigm: man, woman, man, boy, girl, or woman. But the rebalance of that structure is man and woman side by side. So they're not afraid of black men coming together. We've done that before. They're not afraid of women coming together. They're afraid of black men and women coming together. Now, the LGBT community don't want this to happen. Why? Because when the black man is with his woman, his thoughts rule her circumference. Meaning that what he thinks about the world, she nurtures and produces. That's right. That means that he starts to rule the world because his woman is the womb of the world. That's right. So he says that, no, we got to put the LGBT and the women's rights and the trans rights and every other issue in between these black men and women, and let them yell and argue about that. So she can think he's immoral and unempathetic and toxic if he doesn't agree with everything in the middle of this. This keeps his world at chaos. Because the moment that they say that, nigga, who the fuck was talking about trans lives anyway? Like, who was discluding them from Black Lives? Isn't Black Lives Matter some shit that came up from the LGBTQ in the first place? So why do you have to amend this as if black men came up with it as a strategy to disclude the LGBT black people in the community? Exactly. That's not what it came up for. Who the fuck said that? Yeah. See, this is a psychological warfare, though. Right. This is psychological warfare. Slick with it. So they came up with all black lives. First, they came up with Black Lives Matter. I thought that shit was inclusive. You understand me? Then they came up with all Black Lives Matter. But see, all Black Lives Matter definitely is basically saying that this is pointing out toxic masculinity. That's what it's saying. It's saying that that the heterosexual black masculine man is the problem in our community. That's what it's pointing out. And we seen proof of it because they came out of nowhere and started dropping bars about it. Like, nigga, who the fuck I ain't keeping up with news about trans niggas dying. I'm not keeping up with news about everybody dying. Right. If y'all want to blast that out and make that a headline, by all means, go to the streets and march. Who's stopping you? Who the hell, what kind of cop is going out their way to say, I'm about to go kill trans niggas? Show me the report that says that. Show me the group of black men that's going out of their way to say, you know what? Tonight, we about to go harm me some trans niggas. Yeah, we gonna ride down on this train. It ain't happening, B. It ain't happening. And the weirdo niggas that is doing, like, they fucking with them type of niggas, that's the celebrities. Those the hip hop niggas. You know what I'm saying? Ride on them niggas. You understand? I don't want to hear celebrities talking about it behind closed door. They know niggas is fucking with trannies. So let's get to the reality of the situation. The black heterosexual man is the most unappreciated, dangerous man on the planet Earth and the most targeted man. And the black woman is the most disrespected, unprotected woman on the planet Earth. And these are the only intersections that need to converge and fight together against the rest of the bullshit. Because we have the most in common. We have the most in common. And if we have conversations and understand that basis and say, now let's build the black family and restore what they did in that 64 hidden year history, right? And 1555. Understand me? When they brought us over and they committed the psychological genocide You understand me? On masculinity and femininity, so that we can be slaves. And they was testing and experimenting until they said their business is ready to open. You understand me? That's what they did. And so they said, oh, we got them now. The family is broken. Now that the family is broken, let's build this shit up so that we can have Washington. Now, Washington is the name. You know that Washington is not the actual, it wasn't his name. It wasn't his name. The Washington is a name after an estate that he stayed on, and you took the name of the estate that you stayed on. And the so it's Washington. These are three different parts. And the Inga is representing family of. And the Wash and the Ton is representing the estate and the family name of that estate. So even the name Washington is basically a name for a white family, right? An estate or a state in Washington, D.C. is its own state that is its own government, essentially. And so America is not governed by governments. It is governed by white families. The Washington estates are governed by white families. You understand me? In America, the corporation is governed by white families. Right now, you got the Cuomo brothers in New York running shit. You got the Trumps running shit. You got the Gates running shit. You got the Musk running shit. Come on now. You got the Bezos running shit. You got the Waltons running shit. You got the Chases, the Clintons, the Rockefellers, the Bushes. Need I go on? The Obamas. It's families. So the secret, and I'm going to break this shit down in my book so cold when I give y'all the synchronicities of time. The secret of our power and this whole thing lies in our family structure. You know what I'm talking about? It lies in our family structure. So the rebuttal to white supremacy and symbolism is black family. And so the time that we are living in is a reconstruction of the black family as we get back together with our women and we procreate and we stop aborting, but we start producing. You understand me? We saying that, wait a minute, that 46% of the population since the abortion rate, since the abortion clinics have been brought in, those were 100 millions of children. You understand me? That could have been here on this land that would have gave us the majority rule already. So that means the eugenics program has been successful thus far in America as it's been instituted. So when you talk about vote or die, the reality of it, they've been killing you so that your vote didn't matter. You've been dying so that you didn't have the majority. So therefore, and now they're looking at the Latino community saying that, no, nigga, y'all votes gonna be the most powerful. You understand me? Because they ain't gonna have the bodies because they keep aborting all of them because it's successful, because they saying they want to give you access to health care, and then they utilize the rape argument. But the good sister that was breaking it down on the Breakfast Club was saying that only counts for 1% of abortions. So the other 99%, even though they utilize this as an emotional trigger for the argument, is not even the reality when you're looking at the majority of reasons that you're getting these things. So that when we don't really value life or family in our community, then you abort the very thing that produces life and family. So when black people do that, then that's when I believe everyone.
That's when Black Life Matters.
That's when Black life matters.
All right,
man. Appreciate you.
So there you go. Out.
Oh man, look, man. I just cooked up on that one, man. I wasn't even expecting to do all that. I just, you know, I got y'all that got me passionate. You know what I'm talking about? This sponsored by Goldwater. Tap in. Website, we do have the Wealth Masterclass. Tap into the Wealth Masterclass. Everything we got going on, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Follow at 19_keys. Y'all be blessed, people.
All right. I got a whole lecture about a God. 19 keys. Up. All right. Definitely give it the break. I'm gonna go ahead and put his Cash App in there. As much.
OMITU. OMITU. One mind in the universe. Dollar sign.
OMITU. All right. That's his Cash App. OMITU. One mind in the universe. All right. And shout out to his brother, Bashir. And his other brother who came out, brother, that's Lloyd. Yusuf. Brother Yusuf. Right? So yeah, you definitely have to play this back. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of information. Shout out to all of the stream chasers. Like the brother said, we are shifting our income stream. We are all shifting over to 19 Marketplace. We are no longer with Unity and Prosperity. That's the dub. We are effectively dropping that program in its entirety. The Forex Trading Club. We're done with that stream. It is over. We're moving on to the 19 Marketplace. We have a wonderful, wonderful promotion that's coming with that, dealing with $1 million in Bitcoin. You know, y'all in the right time. That's all I gotta say. Your network is your net worth. The evolution will be digitized. There is a fear of a black planet, along with a fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. But worry not. This is Ascension Protocol 2020, right? Although we may be in too deep with the deep state, the deep mind, the deep south, and the quote unquote deep space, it doesn't matter, because we are on a marathon, and the marathon continues. You know what I'm talking about? The marathon continues. Why? Because we're the American gods. So in the link, we have the link for our classes coming up on Thursday. American Gods Part 4 is the fourth installment of it's a classic already. I mean, all four of them have already been certified classics. These are intellectual, it's all prophecy. Let's just say that. Fourth installment will be this Thursday for all of my students, my KT aliens. Make sure y'all hit up the Eventbrite link. I look forward to seeing you in class. I'm tapping out. Love and light to the family. Like the brother said, this is sponsored by Goldie Water. All right, goldwater.com. Let me put that up there. www.goldiewater.com. Along with STREAMCHASERZ.com. All right, put that up there. STREAMCHASERZ. Shout out to all the family that came out in Sanford, Lee County. We went really crazy. The next day, 300 of them went and rallied in front of City Hall. Shout out to all of the family in Lee County, Sanford, North Carolina. Shout out to the rain, everybody that came out to protect me and hold me down, the security team, the security detail. Shout out to everybody that's taking them statues down. You already know what it is. The ancestors will bless you. The ancestors are pleased. But like Key said, let's start this conversation about who the next statues are going to be. The living statues, the living and breathing statues, right? They have a statue of 21 Savage in Brooklyn Museum. They got statues of the rappers. They got, I think it's Travis Scott and all of that. It's time for us to erect our statues to our divine great ones, all right? To our icons, to the ones who are the progenitors of this conscious movement, the Holy Trinity, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali. Let's start with that, right? Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Let's start with that, right? Are we doing Stone Mountain? Do you know? Are we doing that in the morning?
I got to see.
For all, yeah, state, yeah. If everybody that's following us on Instagram, we will let you know. Dr. Sabi as a statue, definitely. All of the doctors, the Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Sabi, right? Dr. Hafiz Muhammad, you know, Clarence 13X, right? What happened with the whole Forex thing? We finished that program, and we're going on to a better program that has more perks. And I know the owners of this program. The old Forex thing, we're not doing that anymore. That's a dub. WD for raw. Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be some powerful statues. Benjamin Bay, you know what I'm saying? Noble Drew Ali, W.D. Fard Muhammad, Clarence 13X, Haile Selassie, Dr. Layla Africa. Man, just think about the pantheon of great ones that we have. Think about technology, where it is in the now, whereas the statues can speak for themselves. The statues can be smart. You can hover your smartphone over it and get a whole rundown about who these quote unquote ancestors are. The statues could double as shrines, right? Let's do it. Nipsey Hussle, right? Our master teachers. You know what I'm talking about? Master teachers. So, yeah, we turned the frequency up in Sanford, North Carolina. They had Boss Hogg and Roscoe Biko train out there trying to come and get me. But it doesn't work. When you're on the frequency, they can't stop you. So we ignited that grid. We're in the ATL right now. The ATL is ignited. And we're protected. We're not, we moving with a different frequency. So whatever they show on TV or whatever, I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on in our circumference. I know the energy that we're moving with. I know that we are where we're supposed to be. And when we pull up, I pull up. So yeah. With that being said, love and light to the family. Love and light to each and every one of y'all. Once again, you know, take care of those that are taking care of you. Third Eye Thursday. Make sure y'all sign up to netterflix.com. Money sign OMITU for keys. 19_keys. Blue Pillar 44. KT the Arch Degree. All of these things, man. Y'all tap in. All right. Love and light. Peace.